afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Propagandacast from the host, Imperial Dane, featuring today a 1 vs 1 on the Les fields of Angoville. We shall be watching XcomReborn taking on the fight for the 93rd Infantry Division. Going up against them shall be Supumadbro, fighting for the Wehrmacht, fighting for the 17th SS Panzergrenadier Division. Gut von Ballichingen. Barracks up here looks to be a pretty standard start from both players. Supumadbro going for the Wehrmacht quarters, of course, starting out at the right-hand side, so it might be that he is focusing on the right-hand side initially. And, of course, not really much to do here with the... Again, this could be the sort of, again, place that's sort of reasonably well, so again, you can have troops moving and reinforcing at the same time. Shifting west, shifting north. Jolly good. Going for the munitions, going for the fuel. And already heading up there. Although, note, I mean, Supumadbro is going straight for the high munitions. He's ignoring the strategic points, likely going to leave that to the Volksgrenadiers, likely leaving that to the common infantrymen to sort out. And we are in fact seeing XcomReborn starting out with a jeep, dashing through the central road, going to harass Supumadbro. And there we go. The Volksgrenadiers come under fire from the jeep, quickly moving on, deciding it wants something easier, some easier prey. The jeep is a coward at heart, only preys on the weak. And there we go, it finds the pioneers and immediately fires away. And we are going to see the pioneers getting run off. At the same time, Volksgrenadiers will be connecting to vital western territories. And there we go, high munitions will be trickling into Supumadbro's covers of munitions. Wehrmacht as a response from the Wehrmacht. That should be interesting. Wehrmacht were in a larger essence equipped for the 17th SS. Its reconnaissance battalion, Ausklärungsbataillon or Abteilung, was equipped with Wehrmacht. They had that for transport. They did not have any light infantry half-tanks, which is what Panzergrenadiers in a Panzer division would have. But there we go. Wehrmacht moving in. Will be able to do more damage to the jeep. Has reasonably more health. Pioneer has though dropped down. His comrade lies in the streets. The other one's moving away. Jeep quickly retreats as the Wehrmacht moves forwards with grace and elan. Fuel point going to fall to the engineers likely. At the same time, rifleman squad unopposed. Oh, hiccups, curse you. Going for the cut-off point, while at the same time, though, Supumadbro's going for XcomReborn's cut-off point. So a bit of swapping about there. Bloody hiccups. Keep getting repaired. Wehrmacht doing what they can. Volksgrenadiers going to sneak up from behind and see if they can do some damage. And we do see the jeep retreating. And the Wehrmacht shall be picking up the hunt. At the same time, MG42 ramming will try and set up there to get some fire down on the riflemen there. And there we go. Righteous MG42 fire. Get the rifleman down on the dirt. Wehrmacht pushes in, though getting a bit caught here between the jeep and the rifleman. Very likely soon. One rifleman dead. Left behind a wooden cart as the others try to crawl the bloody hell out of there. Minor skirmishing going on here between pioneers and engineers. Rifleman pushing up there. Could get a drop on the Volksgrenadiers. And Wehrmacht jeep both are heavily damaged, but the rifleman going to move in. That could very much. And there we go. The Wehrmacht goes down. The jeep is barely held together. Only duct tape and prayers keeping it moving. At the same time, rifleman pushing up here, forcing the Volksgrenadiers to retreat in a most anxious manner. Another Volksgrenadier squad on the way for Supumadbro, who's definitely already hurting a bit there from the loss of his Wehrmacht, without really delivering any brutal, nasty, and remorseless kills onto XcomReborn's forces. Keep doing a slight victory round. We're still alive! Look at us! We're heroes of the United States! In the meanwhile, fuel point has been secured, and pioneers moving up. They're securing the strategic point. There we go. Second Volksgrenadier squad out for Supumadbro. Rifleman pushing up. XcomReborn is on the warpath. Securing the victory point there. So far, looks like they will be falling into XcomReborn's larger numbers. MG42 being pushed away again. There was no infantry leading the way, thus the riflemen could quickly force it off the field. And there we go. The Volksgrenadiers can't do much there. They are doing what they can, but the MG42 is ultimately rushed off the field. Again, the lesson in always, ensure you don't move in your MG42 first into unknown territory. And there we go, strategic point being secured. False gunners advancing, going to go up for the engineers right there. Jeep still not being repaired. Might someone be enjoying a nice cup of coffee brewed on a burning engine block? MG4 using it once more to get the rifle right there. Does not seem to be firing this time around. Someone just seems to be scratching his head, possibly finding some lice. Meanwhile, False gunners running into a bit of problem. There we go, Supumadbro displaying excellent prescience of the situation, realizing he can't do much there and just retreats, avoiding losing men senselessly. A good commander right there, but again he's sensing an MG42 on his own, but now two False gunners, two MG42s, and he could be going for the heavy 81, but there we go. Rather than advancing, one squad gets suppressed, but another squad moves up on the one flank, then uses up on the other flank, and we are seeing the MG42 once more being pushed back, but we are seeing another one going to move up, could set up and covering distance of the first one. False gunners need to get out, and we do see that Supumadbro is making a slight mistake here. His False gunners are a bit too spread out and can easily be overwhelmed. In that sense, I do think Supumadbro could work a bit on his infantry usage and his MG42 usage. It is not necessarily the most strategically or tactically sound he's applying it to here. False gunners though hold up. Flammenwerfer Pionieren moving up, going to burn some Yankees. And there we go, the engineers suddenly found themselves being washed with furious German flames. One catches on fire, all of a sudden realizing he was not wearing flame retardant uniforms, as he had been told by the sergeant. It was only after the war discovered that the sergeant was known as a pathological liar. MG42 advancing up there. Sniper on the way for Supumadbro. Fuel point falling into the hands of Supumadbro again. Rifleman sneaking about, coming under fire here from the False gunners. Still hold up there. Jeep finally getting repaired. Rifleman moving out. Other engineers reinforcing. And a tank trap up there. Not really the best of fights there, but they seem to be doing a bit alright against the False gunners. We are going to see, nope, not further reinforcements moving in there. MG42 covering the Pioneers. Second MG42 slightly more awkwardly positioned up there. Sniper out now, the Scharfschütze, and we are seeing skirmish phase on the way. Trias going out for XcomReborn, that's definitely going to pay off, and we are going to be seeing a deep flank getting past the MG42, but looks like Supumadbro might have picked up something, quickly shifting it about, but of course there's still the other flank, which is going to be still considerably more exposed. The Raven here, though, continue to take a beating, a helpful serving of German lead, straight from Hungary. But we do see the MG42 gets rushed off. Pioneers getting into the house again. We'll be seeing flamethrower engines moving up. The False gunners continue to hold up the building and hold up the Americans. Sniper though arrives, but he can't quite get a shot. MG42 catching the rifle as they move out of the hedgerows cover. Flamethrower Pioneers need to abandon the building. Oh, and they went down. Engineer cut him down with a Screech gun, greasing him out of his life's tapestry. False gunners continue to hold down the rifle here. Now, in fact, cut a bit more exposed. The broader side of the building can now come into action, although we see flamethrower engines moving up. Although if the False gunners were to focus them down, they might have a chance. On the other hand, if they fail to do so, and there we go, looks like they will not. The False gunners now need to evacuate the premises. Oh. No, they do get the engineers. Engineer squad is down, 50 munitions lost. At the same time, a Jeep is loose in the base of Supumadbro. Pioneers coming out, and the sniper fires away. Veterans you want for the Jeep. Pioneers down. Tod nicht mehr. Sie haben die Pionieren sterben. Die Alliierten Schweinhund. That was probably some awful German. MG42 remains their interesting positioning by Supumadbro. Sniper getting into the bunker. MG getting into the bunker. Jeep advancing a bit further. But I mean, again, it needs to get out of there. It's not looking too good. Drive, little Jeep, drive. The little Jeep that could. Next movie from Pixar. But victory point going to fall into the hands of XcomReborn and the 92nd Infantry Division once more. Supply going up. So we could be seeing some armoured cars going up here. Jeep getting hunted down, but again it has Veterans 1, which does mean it's a bit faster than usual. It has been finely tuned by the crew, using only the most illegal methods for getting a Jeep to drive faster. Rifleman up on the right flank, looks like XcomReborn is preparing for a larger infantry push there. And hang on, something going up in the barracks. It might be he just got the supply out for just dealing with upkeep, but also something else. Could he be getting BARs at this very moment? Could he be planning an infantry assault of a grander kind, of a more violent kind? At the same time, though, he has managed to push back Supumadbro again. Supumadbro has had trouble really establishing a front line, or, you know, a coherent force again. He's been spreading out his MGs and his infantry too much. No real cohesion, which has allowed XcomReborn to really do some damage, you know, and push him back, despite everything. But now, Supumadbro seems to have learned something, and he's now establishing a slightly more tense and dense perimeter, tighter, less likely to get overrun, although there's a huge gap right here, which a few riflemen could absolutely mess up. But there we go. Charging in the center. Browning automatics pop up. The Browning automatic being a World War I weapon, in fact, designed for sort of supporting assault. Panzerfaust straight on the Jeep. And there we go. The Jeep goes down. Very close to that Supumadbro. Lost the sniper. Rifleman squad moving up the right side. Goes down. No attempt on flanking up here by XcomReborn. A bit of a shame. But ultimately, Supumadbro won. And of course, the BAR was a response to that bit of a problem there was in World War I once they realized, well, if the defender has an MG that is a highly automatic fire weapon and we don't, well, what happens then? Should we then perhaps try getting some sort of lighter machine gun that our advancing troops can use on the defenders? And so the BAR was one of the attempts of reaching that. I think the Austrians actually tried some sort of curious-looking light machine gun for that. The Germans, on the other hand, tried with a submachine gun. So there were some slightly different approaches from different armies, you know how to deal with that. But we are seeing the Kampfkraft Center going up for Supumadbro. The 17th SS will be getting some of that. A second Jeep on the way for XcomReborn. That's a bold move, and he's getting grenades. So, I mean, XcomReborn is feeling quite confident that they can keep up an extended tier 1 instead of perhaps, you know, saying going straight for a motor pool. After all of this, and getting perhaps an armoured car, which could perhaps catch Supumadbro a bit by surprise. Rather than advancing on several flanks, and we do again see this slightly stronger perimeter right here, but at the same time looks like an MG42 has been pulled away, leaving it exposed, and again allowing XcomReborn to basically just charge in and push Supumadbro off the field. He needs to be able to coordinate things a bit better. He needs to have a clearer idea of how he wants to fight, and currently he doesn't. And currently XcomReborn has definitely got a clear idea of what he wants to do, and that is kick in the Rotten Kraut house. Folks here getting quite gunned down, although some looks like they might be escaping the wrath of XCOM. At the same time, Grenadiers supported by Pioneers, and Folks pushing him through the center. Engineers going down. Oh, going off anyways. Mines were attempted to be laid, but sadly XcomReborn was not able to succeed in his mining endeavors. And he shall be forever brought up with shame in the great Academy of Miners. Anyways, Grenadiers going in for the riflemen with the BARs. No doctrine as of yet for XcomReborn. That is actually a bit of a shame, a bit of a miss. Move. Oh, grenade on the Grenadiers, killing one, leaving the others heavily wounded. Definitely going to give the rifleman a bit of boost, but another Grenadier squad arrives from Supumadbro, and a Jeep once more rushes in. Clearly, XcomReborn wants to get a sniper with his Jeep. And clearly, Supumadbro is less interested in allowing XcomReborn to get his sniper with a Jeep. Fascinating, of course, quite obviously predicted. And there we go, XcomReborn moving a bit too poorly. Panzerfausted. His Jeep was a memorial to his less than great Jeep hunting skills. Something. But at the same time, we do see Supumadbro launching an assault. We're seeing a grenade right here. Oh! Bit of a nasty loss there, but quickly everybody rushes into the house. Although they're all low on men, they're all wounded. Will the rifleman be able to actually win this? And that actually looks very likely, although one catches on fire. Supumadbro in a bit of trouble, although he's gotten some veterans who run for his infantry. Some of the Grenadiers will need reinforcement. And XcomReborn is floating quite a bit of resources. At this stage, he could easily go for a motor pool. Christ, he might even be able to go for a tank depot. But looks like we might be seeing a motor pool unless... No, he's going for a weapon support center. I think the sniper's actually aggravating XcomReborn enough that he's used 2 Jeeps on it now, and he's getting a sniper. Likely a counter sniper to deal with Supumadbro's sniper. That rather ought to indicate how things are looking. And again, rather ought to indicate that perhaps, despite, you know, not holding territorial advantage, Supumadbro might be holding a slight other advantage. He's holding the advantage in, well, deciding how the fight goes. And he's currently forcing XcomReborn to go towards the sniper, which means, and again, he's already expending quite a bit of resource, that Supumadbro could in fact easily go for something like, say, a Sturm Armory or a Panzer Command, and that way go for some armor. And XcomReborn would be considerably less well prepared to deal with it, because again, he's currently been expending quite a bit of resources towards the entire endeavor of trying to kill the other bastard's sniper. Although right here again, Supumadbro makes that MG mistake again. I don't think Supumadbro is fully aware of how to utilize his MGs or his Fulton gunners. There seems to be some sort of a bit of an clarity on him, you know, what sort of role MGs are possessing, which is not quite, as you can see, benefiting him. It's constantly allowing XcomReborn to move in and do some damage, because XcomReborn knows how infantry bloody well works and how MGs work, and again, they don't work when they're on the move. In particular, when there's still infantry in the front, allowing the MG42 some reaction time. And again, that's really a problem for Supumadbro. It's constantly allowing XcomReborn to find a weakness and brutally just kick Supumadbro in the shin, in the stomach, actually. And there we go, the sniper was out. Grenadiers advancing straight out in the middle of the road. Careful here. Negative cover will make your troops easier to hit and actually make them take more damage. Negative cover should usually be avoided, at least be, you know, left in this little area. There we go. XcomReborn immediately reveals his own sniper. I think XcomReborn here is either feeling extremely cocky, or he's hoping to, you know, add another bit to this sniper mind game, which is, again, he's going to try and see if he can't intimidate Supumadbro to being a lot more careful with the snipers. XcomReborn is aware he's probably not going to get the other sniper, because again, counter-sniping can be a bitch. But on the other hand, if he can have Supumadbro constantly worrying that if he takes a shot he might get counter-sniped, then XcomReborn can certainly, you know, force the sniper to be a lot more cautious and do a lot less on the battlefield. And again, that can also, you know, be something that pays off. I mean, it's not going to be the ultimate solution. In fact, XcomReborn is getting a second sniper. At the same time, Supumadbro is going straight for the Sturm Armory. He's going to be probably getting an armored car, and the current unit composition which XcomReborn has, again, Rifleman, BAR's sniper, nothing that could really hold back an armored car. He's pretty much bleeding well perfect for XcomReborn. I mean, Supumadbro. And certainly an armored car could end up doing an awful lot of damage to XcomReborn, if well handled, of course. Victory points falling. The resources floating right there for XcomReborn. Rifleman advancing, a bit of a horde. Sniper following up. MG though opening up, quickly stopping both Rifleman squads, quickly killing Larry as he advanced. The first most brave Larry was, and most dead Larry is. There we go, the Rifleman engineers pushed off as an MG42 gunner gleefully fires down huge streams of lead at high rates towards them. Fulters here hit a mine, actually, interesting enough. And there we go, the Schwerer Panzer Spähwagen rolls out. 8 wheels, the Achtrad. And a bit of quiet. Grenadiers moving up, coming under fire from the Riflemen there. They're going to quickly be pushed off. No, in fact, they get completely rushed off. I might have thought... And XcomReborn retreats his Riflemen? Why? Oh well. But of course, the beauty of Supumadbro going for an armored car is, of course, that XcomReborn snipers can't do bloody well anything about it. Of course, we do see that XcomReborn, although he's largely had a nice cache of resources, so he's quickly going for something that can deal with the armored car. And while it's not the tank depot itself, it's going to be what's going to come out from the tank depot. And there we go, the armored car in the meanwhile going to reap a grim harvest amongst American riflemen, gunning them down, gutting them open with its mighty auto cannon. And there we go, Rifleman bites the dust. Grenadiers doing what they can from that angle. And looks like... Oh, actually, never mind. Sticky bombs. Or perhaps he doesn't have it. And again, he's trying to, you know, pull the good old dirty sock trick. Just trying to pretend he has, of course, lobbing grenades. But, you know, again, making the opponent think he has sticky bombs. Thus, forcing him away, at least temporarily. And again, that's certainly a possibility. And some players do like a good old fake out on your opponent. And certainly German tank commanders or vehicle commanders, of course, never fond of, having socks thrown on, and whether they contain sticky bombs or not. Always a bit rude. There we go, the both armor cars really just tear through the rifle, quickly gunning down several in the middle of everywhere. Although we do soon see a tank destroyer will be ready for XcomReborn to spring a very, very unpleasant surprise on XcomReborn. That's definitely going to be a bit of fun for XcomReborn, less so for Supumadbro and the 17th SS. Engineers there quickly going down. All 3 victory points in the hands of Supumadbro. Tank destroyer ready, pulling out of the tank depot. Armor custom going to be a problem, and it announces itself for the mighty burp, I suppose, of its gun. Folks are getting sniped. 2 snipers now out, of course, announcing themselves quite nicely there to Supumadbro. And the tank destroyer bursts through the wall, making an impressive entrance, if only there was someone to actually watch it. And then Grenadiers and Pioneers rushed off. The presence of the 2 snipers convinces them that staying there is a very bad idea unless they fancy getting a very terminal lobotomy with a bullet. And we are seeing an officer out, just being used to speed up production. We are seeing a Sturmgeschützvier on survey, going to be used to deal with the tank destroyer, I imagine. Isn't this right, Lieutenant Gottlieb? Ja, mein Herr. Supplied upgrade number 1 for XcomReborn. That is good. That's definitely going to help him with the supplied this manpower upkeep. Mines going up. Good for Supumadbro. Supumadbro being a bit passive. He's waiting for something to deal with the tank destroyer before he rushes in. We've even seen some punch strikes from the Grenadiers, and there we go. Armor cars coming in from one angle. Stuke from the other. Gets a nice rearmor hit on the tank destroyer. Stuke advances. We're seeing Terror Doctrine, by the way, for Supumadbro. Propaganda has been chosen. Other armor car pulling up. Tank destroyer pulling away. Looks like Supumadbro could use this as an opportunity to gain quite a bit of the map and the victory points again, and put up some pressure against that Yankee gangster XcomReborn. An officer reporting from the field. Snipers moving out. More riflemen waiting. Tank destroyer getting repaired. A bit of quiet. This could do with perhaps a few sandbags, so the units are a bit of hurt recover, so they're not quite so easy to hit. Or at least he's putting down mines. And it looks like XcomReborn is going to make a large push for the right-hand side. Well, there's only going to be vehicles, and of course a few infantry is in fact joining in. Another Sturmgeschütz on the way. The officer seems to be doing absolutely nothing. Snipers opening up, armor cars moving in, trying to perhaps get a few shots there. And one armor car goes down, hits a mine. And the tank destroyer pulls up. Propaganda war caught in the rifleman. Looks like one sniper was very close to getting caught out in the open by the armored car. Tank destroyer versus the Stuke. Looks like the Stuke, though, is slowly winning that one. Rifleman moving in, and there we go. Snipers get caught out in the open. We do see a sticky bomb on the armor car, which could allow the snipers time enough to escape as the engine bursts into flame. It has been damaged. Stuke, though, trying to hunt down the tank destroyer. And it does succeed. The M10 Wolverine is a smoldering wreck in the middle of the road. And overall, once more, XcomReborn has been pushed back into his own base. Again, I think the whole attempting to get snipers alongside BAR simply made him much too easy a target for Supumadbro to basically counter him with a few vehicles. So problem now for XcomReborn is basically going to have to try and break out of this. He's going to need to amass some Shermans and some tank destroyers. He's basically going to have to push through. He's going to have to punch through the front line of Supumadbro. He needs to cripple him. Otherwise, I mean, this is going to be pretty much the entire game. Snipers will continue to move about, trying to find some exposed German targets with which to end their lives. And we're seeing a needle werfer on the way for Supumadbro, wanting to add a bit of rocket artillery. Tank destroyer moving in. Snipers opening up. Sticky bomb on the Stuk. Oh, the Stuk moving up. Veterans U1, by the way, going to make them a bit harder to damage. There we go, though. Grenadiers here under fire from both snipers, down to 2 men, down. Tanks coming about. Armor coming in straight within range of the rifleman. I think that's a bit of a bad move out with Supumadbro. Field repairs popping up for XcomReborn, meaning he's gone for the left-hand side. He might be going for a Pershing. Destroyed engine on the Sturmgeschütz. Armor car blasting away at the rifleman. Repairs will be needed on these Stuks. They are very close to getting knocked out. Destroyed gun on it, and they actually get the tank destroyer. They actually, by Jove, get the tank. So more Stuks are getting immobilized by sticky bombs in one way or the other. And if only the officer was there, he could use his propaganda ability to at least get one of the rifleman squads to retreat. But they're actually moving on. They're abandoning the otherwise pretty much crippled German vehicles. XcomReborn here is missing an opportunity to really deliver a huge dent in the mechanized pool of Supumadbro. I mean, there's 2 Stuks and an armored car. They were pretty much defenseless. A few sticky bombs more, and that could have been it. But now we do see that Supumadbro has managed to advance up a few pioneers to immediately set about repairs. At the same time, Veterans U2 is on the way for Supumadbro, so if he can recover these Stuks, he will have MGs on them. Again, I really... oh dear. XcomReborn really missed an opportunity right there to cripple Supumadbro, and he might get very much punished for that in a few moments. Armor the meanwhile taking a run for the base. Clearly, Supumadbro is not intending to conduct full workshop work right here. He's basically just getting them functional. He's wanting to get them movable, and then he gets them back to base, or at least somewhere safer to repair. That is definitely a good move by Supumadbro. And then he moves in the armored car again, which seems a bit more counterproductive. Looks like XcomReborn is trying to move in. Stuk, though, has not been fully repaired. It still has a damaged engine. It's lumbering away like a crippled orangutan. And we are seeing a second armored car coming up for Supumadbro. 17th is holding out. 92nd Infantry Division has floundered a bit. Though we do, of course, also see that he's gone armored doctrine, which is quite interesting considering how little armor or vehicles XcomReborn has. But again, it looks like he might be trying for a Pershing to win his way through here in the name of Uncle Sam and liberty. A bit of quiet, but we do see that XcomReborn does a nice move here. He actually shifts the entire front line, and he's not going to be continuing bashing his head into a Supumadbro-shaped wall. He is going to shift over to the left-hand side, and we see 3 feckin' snipers. I mean, that's absolutely insane. Of course, we know what he's going to do. He's just going to try and clear out an entire MG crew in one volley, and there we go, like a row of executioners, like a firing squad. They take out the MG-42 quickly for the inexcusable crime, apparently, of being German. Grenadiers advancing with Punches X. And there we go, getting started again. The 3 snipers just open up, and again, 3 Grenadiers dead. Very nasty stuff. But again, the armored vehicles are the cure. The snipers cannot touch the Stuk. The Stuk is sniper-proof. Oh dear, there's a mine down by the engineers. And they set off, and another mine goes off on the riflemen. Down to 2 men, and they're Veterans U2. Both are Veterans U1 rifleman squads right here. Getting hammered by the armor cars, and looks like they both could go down. And 2 rifleman squads are down for XcomReborn. 2 veteran rifleman squads were cut down in their prime. Their lives ended with a bang and a splat as their spines were crushed and their innards pulped. Pershing rolling out for XcomReborn. Calling in an armored vehicle that never saw action in Normandy. He tries to turn the tide. And there we go, an armored car goes down. Stuk moving up, supported by pioneers. Snipers patrolling up, but again, they can't do much against Stuk, but the Pershing and the tank destroyer can. And the only thing that might save now Supumadbro is either King Tiger or more Stuks. If one Stuk fails, more Stuk. As they were also generally expected to fight in larger units and not fight on their own. In fact, the commander's manual for them actually pretty much stressed again they were not to fight, you know, on their own, and they would certainly not also be to use largely only as tank destroyers. Fun little fact there. There are many fun facts about the mighty Sturmgeschütz. In fact, some of the Stuks were actually reinforced with concrete, more specifically around the driver's segment, probably to make it a bit harder to actually kill him with a direct hit. But back at XcomReborn, it's actually time for the mid-game analysis. A bit late on that, but current situation a bit dangerous for XcomReborn again. His moves have not quite given him a full advantage. In fact, he's a bit exposed, and now he's upgunning his Germans. Probably also get this Pershing a bit of a boost. Either way, something to note there. Again, you know, the whole going for infantry, BARs, then snipers again can very much hit you up for an armored rush, and again, XcomReborn has not really been having much luck in that. He's dealing with the infantry, but again, the main opponent is not infantry. Those are the Stuks and the armored cars, and only at the moment he's got a Pershing and tank destroyers. He needs something a bit more. He could consider trying an observation post on the field, trying to hold that, and that way gain himself sufficient resources for an armored push, but that might not happen. On the other hand, Supumadbro again saw the situation and correctly countered it, but he's still a bit lacking, and again, he definitely needs to work a bit on his infantry, and he needs to get that officer doing a bit more. I think he could be taking territory over here, while the rest of the armed forces are busy over there, trying to destroy XcomReborn's armored forces, and definitely Supumadbro needs to get something more, and then he needs to knock out that Pershing as quickly as possible. But let us return to the fight. Let us return to the fight. A bit quiet again. And a rifleman going in for the victory point quickly finds themselves persuaded by the might of the armored car. And Needle River rockets. Pershing and tank destroyer rolling out. And a few Volksguns moving in to take that victory point back. Points are ticking down for Supumadbro and the 17th SS Panzer Grenadier Division. Trio sent out for XcomReborn. Forces moving forwards. Without support though, and we are seeing more Stuks likely coming up there for Supumadbro, meaning he could actually overwhelm the Pershing and the tank destroyer if applied correctly, which one might hope to see. And there we go. The Stuks are on the move. And the tank destroyer and the tank is on the other move. At the same time, advancement over in the far south. Far western south. And some infantry following up there on the right hand side, but not really working coordination or tandem with the armor, meaning they could in fact run into the Stuks and suddenly found themselves getting blasted into oblivion. And there we go. A stolen MG42 advancing, but looks like he might have hoped for that. He might have hoped for a distraction, and now the tank destroyer and the Pershing sets in on the flank, but at the same time the Stuks are turning. The distraction was not enough rather than advancing, but simply the sheer amount of machine guns mounted on the Stuks allowed them to overwhelm them. Sticky bomb on one, field repairs going up, but the tank destroyer is simply going to get targeted down like a bit in a shooting gallery, and there we go, destroyed engine, but field repairs fixes up, but out of control. Snipers moving up, engineers down as they desperately and vainly try to take the victory point. Stuk down, veteranry one for the Pershing, King Tiger advancing, the Königstiger has been sent vorwärts, and the Pershing is trying to extract itself from this mess, while the MG42 is left to keep the Germans occupied, acting as bait. Clearly sacrificed by XcomReborn as a pawn in his game of chess. At least I think he's trying to play chess. But Pershing advances and straight into everything else. Tank destroyer moves on the flank. I mean, that Pershing could very quickly go down. Not really the best of moves right there. And the tank destroyer went down very quickly. Gets another Stuk with the Pershing though. That is a minor victory for XcomReborn, but will he be able to get the purging out of the safely, and will he be able to get it repaired? King Tiger, though, seems to be setting out on a mission of destruction. Rifleman sneaking about. And we do see Supumadbro advancing, infantry moving up there.
Cav is on the ground. I've seen enough killing the last big deadline.
Holding up the central victory point. Pershing getting repaired. That is good, that is good. More engineers on the way.
Pershing here. Front shifting.
Clearly top priority to get that Pershing repaired and polished. And a mine went off. And we do see most of Supumadbro's armored forces. Oh, snipers get the pioneers. Other pioneers trying to repair are getting murdered as well. Riflemen getting slaughtered as they advance. Getting off a sticky bomb on the King Tiger, and looks like they will escape. And more sniper fire. Two veterans, two sniper squads. MG taking up position and position against the other MG, trying to take the high munitions point. Looks like the MG will go down. Supumadbro suddenly taking some very curious moves and risks.
Begin raid operations.
MG position in the building, getting bombarded by German fire. And looks like more pioneers went down. The snipers continue their reign of terror. Looks like he went propaganda war, hoping perhaps to get some of the snipers from China, just get them out of there. And there we go, 2 MG gunners down, a high explosive round from the King Tiger, blast the building and the contents apart, and there we go, one final shot, and the MG crew is dead.
This war isn't gonna win itself.
And XcomReborn is down to a single squad of riflemen. That is definitely not a good sign. He's got 3 engineers, 3 snipers, and a Pershing, but he's really lacking infantry. He's suffered some excruciating losses in his attacks on Supumadbro. And there we go, looks like we are seeing XcomReborn moving up against the opponent's base, while Supumadbro seems to be doing the same thing, bombarding the base with artillery from the Needler. And now the King Tiger advances, opens up on the tank depot. Another Stug up for Supumadbro. XcomReborn moving straight in, going like before the bunker first to allow any infantry to move in. And looks like both sides are trading bases. Or the more riflemen have been trained by XcomReborn to try and deal with the German armor, or at least delay it further, so that XcomReborn can quicker destroy the German base. But there's a slight difference. XcomReborn only has a Pershing to do the task. Supumadbro has several Stugs and a King Tiger to knock down the German base. So I mean, there's definitely going to be a certain advantage in speed right there for Supumadbro as he fires away. Rifleman taking losses. Rifleman squad suppressed. Barracks could be going down anytime soon. Snipers moving up there. There's not really much snipe. Krieg barracks down for Supumadbro. And more sticky bombs on the King Tiger. Death and destruction unleashed. But really interesting move. Both players again basically in a race to destroy the other bastard's base. But the difference is there's a slight bunker out here and there's nothing else at the moment outside of XcomReborn's base. So if both players destroy the base at the same time, then, or at least around the same time, then Supumadbro will win. And the riflemen here just getting murdered. A firestorm unleashed straight into everything. Several rifleman squads went down. Riflemen went down, and looks like engineers going down as well. And there we go. The tank depot is gone. The triage center is on fire. And we're actually seeing a machine gun position going up in his opponent's base. Oh, the cheek from XcomReborn. Sticky bomb on the Stug.
Base is under attack.
Tank depot getting blasted. And a BAR picked up by a few heroic riflemen. Might as well speed up this bit. I mean, there's not going to be much for a bit. Knocking out the headquarters. And of course the Persian going to be taking a much longer time about it. Riflemen here getting murdered. Further, and there we go, gone. And that is pretty much entire XcomReborn space. There's just that one machine gun emplacement up. On the other hand, we do see that Supumadbro has a bit more. He's got a fort barracks there. He's got a bunker there. So in essence, all that Supumadbro needs to do is go up here and get that machine gun emplacement. He leaves one Stuk behind because it's damaged, also to prevent, I imagine, anyone from rebuilding that headquarters or building anything else. Of course, it's going to take ages to get up there with his other damaged vehicles. In particular, the King Tiger is definitely not going to get there this millennium.
Our base is under attack.
Victory points being secured. Barely anything left, in fact, for Supumadbro. Mine went off, damaging the engine further, in fact, destroying it of the Stuk. Victory points being down, no idea what Supumadbro intends. Let's just speed this up while the King Tiger moves somewhere. Getting an officer, apparently does not get any pioneers. It seems like the ability is a bit bugged. Can happen, I suppose. And we do see that XcomReborn is actually trying to move his Pershing on, but again, he's only got the machine gun emplacement. We do see another attempt there, but will it be in time? And no, it does not. Oh well. Not entirely sure who lost here or won, but could very well be XcomReborn pulling off a very tight victory. Very tight indeed. Looks like Supumadbro might just have given up, but overall, I mean, very tense fight, very close. Ultimately came down to some very, very curious fighting in the end, and again, partly due to problems with Supumadbro and actually keeping his units alive, and again, the whole, establishing a sensible front line, and again, he probably shouldn't have tried this, and instead just gone after what was little left of XcomReborn, but there you go. The problem a bit for Supumadbro was, again, establishing a sensible front line, which constantly was penetrated, what was there by XcomReborn, which was definitely not good. Lack of medic bunker, I mean, that could have helped a bit as well. I mean, the usage of veterans was good. His choice of armor vehicles was good against XcomReborn, but never quite fully, used. But overall, against that problem with the MGs and the full gunners, he never quite fully understood it. It seemed like, at least, and again, XcomReborn took advantage of that. Definitely some things there going on with XcomReborn. He certainly also lost a lot, but ultimately, he went for a bit of a weird gamble, and it actually worked because then Supumadbro tried the same and seemed to have lost track of everything else and pretty much lost. So there you go. Of course, it also seemed like that ability bugged out. But there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. If you did, want to subscribe, tell your friends. If you didn't, well, why not provide some feedback, send in some comments, or send in a replay of your own. This is Imperial Dane saying cheers, and feel free to follow me on Facebook or Twitter. Links are in the description.